What's up? How's everybody doing? I don't really want an answer because I can't talk back to me, so fuck off. Um, yeah, if you're expecting energy, fuck off again. It's not gonna happen today. See if I can fix this mic since it sounded kind of shitty in the last episode. Um, as you can see, you've got one Richard again. So I guess maybe we should address that first before we continue. I I don't think I did a great job last episode. It's obviously better here with Rob, but I don't know, man. At this point, I got to say he's flaking on us. You know, I've been trying to work with him and work with his schedule, and I've been willing to, you know, even when it makes it more difficult for me to work with him. And listen, I'm not trying to disparage him in any way. He has his priorities and he has his reasons for doing what he does and when he does it. And he's welcome to come on and defend himself or, you know, basically give his side of it whenever he wants. I want him back. I want him on the show. But for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to be on the show. So, you know, it is what it is. You got one Richard instead of two, so no double penetration. I hope he's back soon. I think the show's better with him than without him. Obviously, I know everybody loves Rob, so you know none of you love him more than me. But hey, if he doesn't want to make time, if he doesn't want to prioritize it, then what do you want me to do? I feel an obligation to the few loyal listeners that we have to get on here and give you something. And yeah, it's not polished. It never was. I mean, let's be honest. I'm working through some things, trying to figure out how to do this shit by myself. With as much as I say and stupid filler shit like that, trying not to do it. But you know, what are you gonna do? See, I just did it there. Fuck. That's hard to stop. You ever try to just like, if I'm sure we've all known this guy, you know what I'm saying? Or me personally, you know, like they have their little go-to type thing where they always say it. So with me, it's just a simple stupid like a fucking moron. But see, I did it again. What the fuck? I'm trying to clean it up so I don't sound like such an asshole. But what are you gonna do? You know, you're one person trying to carry a fucking show by yourself because your asshole brother decides to bail on you and is never available. So fuck him. I love him, but he's not here. So now I got to do another episode by myself. I'd be happy to do a bonus episode this week if he can make the time in his super busy schedule because he's a fucking, I don't know, celebrity or something, or he's or he works 80 hours a week or whatever the fuck his excuse is going to be. But you know, I hope he comes back, and I hope he comes back soon because I'm all over the place with this shit, and who knows where we're going today. Let me see. What do I have on the agenda today? Oh, that's right. We had a fucking since the last time we spoke, we had an insurrection, and we had all these assholes storming the fucking Capitol building. So I don't want to get too much into it. Uh, I think most sane, intelligent, normal people, Republicans, Democrats, whatever, understand how fucked up that was and understand what a what a shit show it looked to the rest of the world and understand what a slap in the face it is to democracy in this country. It's getting bigger. You're starting to see that there were possibly off-duty cops involved and possibly members of Congress involved in maybe showing some of those guys around so they knew where to go and stuff like that. So this is a pretty big deal, and it's pretty bad for America. No matter whether you're right, left, or whatever, and our few loyal listeners know that we try to keep it, for the most part, down the middle. Obviously, the right is trying to downplay things and trying to downplay Trump's involvement in all of this. And while I don't agree with all these social media companies banning him from Twitter and Facebook and all of that stuff, I think that's just a dangerous precedent to set. And I understand that they're private companies and whatnot, but we're getting close. We're getting really close to censorship. And that's a scary thing. But it's just, there's so much to dissect with this fucking ridiculousness. I mean, if you ask any of these people who did these things, why are you doing it? And they'll still, most of them will tell you to stop the steal. And they believe all of this baseless conspiracy theory bullshit that Trump and his cronies have been spewing out, that has pretty much been kicked out of every court that with justices that he's appointed, because there's no evidence of any of this garbage. Yet it doesn't matter to these people, and they are worse than the lefties who were, when Trump won, were talking about, oh, I'm gonna go move to another country, I'm moving to Canada, and all this stupid fucking ridiculous bullshit that they were doing, being a bunch of babies the same way. But these guys took it to another level. They fucking stormed the Capitol building looking for Mike Pence. Mike Pence was a fucking Republican. Think about that for a minute. These people who call themselves patriots are basically trying to break down everything that patriotism is about, like democracy. You just because their guy lost and they can't deal with it, and because he's such a con man, he has them all just believing every little bullshit thing that he says, and they just take it at face value. And it's unbelievable the control that this guy has over these morons. And it's an embarrassing time for America. And I can't wait till it's over. And I can't wait till we don't talk about this shit anymore. Meanwhile, COVID's just fucking mushroom stamping everybody's foreheads all over America. Like, and Trump, Pence, nowhere to be found. Fuck it, we're good. We're good. We don't have to worry about all these people catching COVID and dying and shit. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're almost up to 400,000 people. For the worst or the biggest supporters that say, oh, it's fake news or it's not what they say it is, and the Fauci bashers and all of that shit. If you weren't paying attention, the original estimates were around where we are. And they had high expectations that people would listen, people would do the things that they asked, like wear masks, social distance, all of that stuff. So they lowered the death toll on what they thought it would be if people complied. Well, people didn't comply. So we're back to the original estimates, and it's rising. So you have to stop for a minute and think, Jesus Christ, if this was handled by a competent person from the start, how much better off we would be as a country right now. Just from COVID. And I'm not even talking about the other shit, the fucking insurrection that happened that Trump did. I mean, he didn't directly say, go storm the Capitol, go find Pence and kill him. But he's been compared to like a mob boss, to where he says things without having to say it. You know, take care of that guy for me. You know, if Don Corleone says that, you pretty much know what the fuck he wants, right? So it's a sad time for America. I hope nothing big happens during the inauguration. I won't be surprised if something does happen, but I hope it doesn't. I hope that the Trump lovers can just accept it's over. It's fucking over. Sorry, guys. You know, do we have the best candidate out there? No. I mean, anybody with a brain can tell you that. But at least the fucking guy has a plan. I mean, if you listen to what his plans are for COVID, it's a lot more than what we were getting before. So, you know, for that we should be thankful. But I don't know. It's just fucking sad. What frustrates me is how people try to defend it by bringing up the Black Lives Matter protests, which in some places turned into riots and turned into looting. There's no question about that. And that was wrong, right? Who's trying to justify that? If you're trying to justify looting and rioting, then you're just as bad as the right wingers trying to justify what they did. You know, storming the Capitol. But if you take a look at the difference in the level of force that was used, pretty big difference. And let's not gloss over the fact that there were many peaceful protests. Since we're comparing the two, because the right wingers love to compare the two, and use what the left wingers said during those times as if like to justify what these guys did. So There were a lot of stupid shit that the left wingers said during the Black Lives Matter protests and riots and looting. And it's still wrong. It's wrong for them. It's wrong for you guys. One does not justify the other. It's fucking stupid to think that way. And additionally, I will say, they were protesting because people of their color were getting killed randomly for committing no crimes. They were being killed. And they weren't getting any type of justice or any type of due process. Your guys were storming the fucking Capitol because their president lost an election. Okay? There's a huge difference there. Huge. And I doubt this is going to change anybody's view or get to the ears of any of the right wingers. But if you don't recognize the difference, you're a fucking moron. And there's a huge difference. You're doing your little movement based on conspiracy theories and bullshit. Black Lives Matter is because people actually died, you fucking morons. And additionally, you assholes caused 5 people to die in your little thing. And yes, I'm sure plenty of people got injured and some died during the fucking protests and riots. I get that. That's not good either. But you can't justify one by citing the other. You ever hear the phrase, 2 wrongs don't make a right, you stupid assholes? Yeah, that still applies, you fucking morons. Jesus Christ, I can't believe how stupid people have become. How do you just have this blind loyalty? And you like, a lot of these people grew up, a lot of these people claim to be God-fearing, church-going patriots. This is what a God-fearing patriot does or supports? An insurrection based on bullshit? Wake the fuck up. Jesus Christ. With that, I want to drive this point home because these people claim, that they're patriots. They claim that when Trump was running and he's pro-police and all of that stuff. And I'm sure that many of you have seen some of the videos. Hopefully you've seen when they were dragging the cop face down down the steps and beating the piss out of him with things. Okay, I want to just show you real quickly, just to drive this point home, this image of the cop that they beat up. Now, I don't know if this is the cop that died. I'm in the story that actually they didn't even know. But I mean, whether the guy died or not, does that make it right? This right here, this cop is obviously knocked out and was dragged down those steps face down while they were all pounding on him for doing his fucking job. Okay? Because their guy didn't win. These are supposed to be pro-police, right? Isn't Trump pro-police? Yeah. Let this image sit in your head because this is bullshit. And this would have been bullshit if it happened during, the BLM movement or protests or whatever. This is bullshit regardless. So, for you assholes that claim, oh, well, what about this? It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is what you guys are doing. Again, two wrongs don't make a right. Just fucking accept it already, you fucking losers. Jesus Christ, have a fucking better candidate next time who actually knows what the fuck he's doing instead of, and all you dummies, this is what kills me also. All you dummies out there who think he gives a fuck about this country, you are so misguided. This guy only cares about himself. And if you don't see that, you're a fucking moron. Jesus Christ. He doesn't even give a fuck about his own kids. You think he gives a fuck about you, you stupid fuck? All right. Enough with this bullshit. I just had to talk about it, and I wish the other Richard was here so that we could get his take, but he's not, so fuck him. And I'm going to keep saying that until he comes back. So let's, I have some stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I need him to talk about them because they're kind of back and forth topics. You know what I mean? But since he's not here, I'll try to go with, shit, I think it's clicked out of something that I didn't want to click out of. So I read this article. You know what? Before we get to that, let's get to something light. I'm gonna share this video with you guys. I think we've all been here before. When you're at work and shit is slow and things are a little boring. So this guy that I guess was running the intermission at the Avalanche game. You know, they're not playing in front of fans and stuff, so whatever. But there's still a broadcast. They're still showing it on TV. So, he proceeded to project this onto the ice. Just chilling, just playing a game of solitaire. For those listening on the podcast, there's a full game of solitaire being played, and it's being displayed on the ice. And it's hilarious because, I mean, who hasn't busted out a game of solitaire when things get a little slow at work, or when nothing else is going on. I mean, it's just funny. They actually caught it on camera and stuff, and I guess you got to pass the time one way or another. Usually there's like some advertisements and shit going on, or some of the team's graphics and logos and shit flying around. But nope, we've got a full-blown game of fucking solitaire on an NHL rink during intermission. So I found it very amusing. You might not. I don't know. I don't even know who won the game. But it was fun. On a more serious note, this happened. So let me bring this up for you. And I don't know how many of you have taken public transportation. I live in the city and got to deal with it. Public transportation is It's like a Sour Patch Kid. It's sweet and sour. So there's times when you love it because it's convenient. Like if you're going to a game or something and you don't want to deal with all the traffic and parking and all of that bullshit, or if well, for me it was convenient. It was great for content because there's so much shit that happens on public transportation. But it is also some bad shit. It's too much to describe. Let's put it that way. By the way, one time, and if you eat on public transportation, you're a fucking savage. I'm not talking about like. I'm not talking about. I guess I could give you a pass if you're just like crushing a corn dog or something on a stick, like something small like that. Something snacky, I guess I can give you a pass on. But I'm talking about like a full dinner. Like if you get a to-go container and you bust it open and you just start housing some fucking lo mein and some boneless ribs or something like that in the middle of a bus where all these fucking dirty motherfuckers and not all of them are like that. Some of them are very respectable, clean people. But let's face it, there are some dirty motherfuckers that get on that bus. And if you're on that bitch eating with all those germs and stuff, geez, you're a savage. You're a fucking savage. But that's not where I meant to go with this. I guess there's good and bad on public transportation. But this is probably some of your biggest fears. So let's take a quick look at this story and discuss the fallout.
Us with the accordion style.
We want to start in the middle, dummy. How about we start from the beginning?
Went off the road and then dangled from an overpass. Officials say the driver refused a drug and alcohol test at the hospital. CBS 2's Andrew Grimes with more, including an exclusive interview with one of the passengers.
Like a scene from an action movie, but very real. Half of an MTA bus hanging off an overpass. A 50-foot drop onto the Cross Bronx Expressway access road. You can hear passengers screaming in this cell phone video. One of them, Jose Luis Brito. The bus sped up out of nowhere, he says. It sped up and lost control. Brito showed us some of his bruises. He was on his way home to Hell's Kitchen from visiting his son in the Bronx. He told us it was something unexpected, that it happened 5 to 10 minutes after he got on, and he knew something was wrong. All 7 passengers and the bus driver were hurt but survived. Investigators are trying to figure out exactly what happened. The MTA says the 55-year-old driver passed a breathalyzer test at the scene, but refused a mandated drug and alcohol test at the hospital.
Which is extremely rare for someone not to agree to cooperate with it, and obviously extremely troubling.
The accident happened just after 11 o'clock last night. The MTA says the BX35 bus with the accordion-style center was driving on University Avenue in the Highbridge section, making a left onto the Cross Bronx ramp when it veered off the road, crashing through the overpass barricades. They say the bus was going between 17 and 26 miles per hour, but should have taken the turn at 3 to 4 miles per hour.
While the investigation is ongoing, speed is clearly a factor and is obviously of great concern to us.
The MTA reports the bus was last inspected on Wednesday and had no issues. The agency says the driver, who helped evacuate passengers, has more than 11 years on the job and a good record. The MTA says the bus has outward and inward-facing cameras plus a black box recorder.
Oh, he was a good guy. He never bothered anybody. Right? Isn't that what they always say when the serial killer, they go to the neighbors? He was a good guy. He used to barbecue ribs. But just think about those people's night for a quick second. You get off work, you busted your ass, you're tired. Probably waited for the bus for who knows how long. You're sitting there crushing your fucking lo mein and your chicken fingers. Got stuffing down crab rangoons. And on the bus. Next thing you know, it's a fucking ride at Universal Studios. Like you it's like a real live earthquake ride. Like you're going over the fucking side of a bridge. That is not how you want to end your day. But thankfully nobody died or anything like that. So I guess I don't know. Obviously the guy's probably gonna get fired once they find out, if he submits to the test and they find out what the fuck he was on. Maybe if not that day, but another day. I don't know. Oh, by the way, I meant to mention this earlier. There was a report. Now, some of the shit that the more liberal channels come out with and the more liberal reporting comes out with is like ridiculous, and it is bullshit. So there was this report that Trump was more upset that the Capitol mob looked low class than about the actual violent attacks themselves. So your normal right winger is going to say, "Oh, see, fake news, fake news, fake news." So which I can understand. Makes sense, right? Like, yeah, that. But then you think this is Trump, and that is exactly something that he would say. So it makes you kind of believe it, right? You know, Trump getting all pissy because his supporters looked a little more white trash than he wanted them to look. He wanted to look more distinguished. He wanted a more distinguished mob uh, attacking and causing all these problems. I wouldn't put it past him. Let's put it that way. But let's leave that alone. And let's get into some more crazy. So I don't know if you know who this rapper Azealia Banks is. I think she's had some controversies in the past. We're not going to revisit those. But we will talk about this current controversy where this chick actually digs up her dead cat from its grave and cooks the bones to bring it back to life. And not only did she do this, she posted it on Instagram. Okay. Where do we start? I guess we start at the beginning. Where, before this even happens, where does this idea come from? Are you just like chilling watching Pet Sematary? Are you, I don't know, your Facebook timeline comes up and it shows your an old picture of your dead cat, so you start getting sentimental. You start Googling how to revive a dead cat or something. Are you reading some type of witch manuals? Where does this come from? Where does it begin? Where does it click in your brain to say, okay, I'm going to go dig up my dead cat and then boil it to revive it. So I'm guessing, was there some type of potion involved? Because I think that was missing in the story. I didn't get to see the video, and I'm glad because I don't want to see the video. But if you expect that cat to come back to life, I gotta think the ritual is one of two things with the boiling of the corpse. You've either got to do like say some shit, like have some witches voodoo shit that you have to chant or recite, which I don't think is the case. I don't think that happened. Or you have to have created some type of potion to go with the boiling water to revive the cat. So we're missing part of the story here. The question is, what was there some chanting or some what do they say, incantation or some reciting of some words, or was there some serum made up with like a cow's hoof and I don't know, somebody's foreskin from their penis and stuff. it it would explain more to us. It's a key component that's missing. But additionally, we get to phase 3 to where you think it's a good idea to not just dig up your cat, not just boil it, boil the fucking corpse, which had to be disgusting. Oh my God, I can't even imagine the smell. You post it on Instagram? You post it on Instagram. Where does part 3 come in? Unless you're just doing it to get views and outrage and get your name, get publicity, which is entirely possible. Crazy, but possible. So, just I don't even know what the fuck to say about this. It's so batshit crazy. It's fucking. You know what? Let's fucking move on. I just don't know what to say about Azalea Banks. Who, by the way, I don't. If you ask me, isn't even really a good rapper. But whatever, to each his own. Not very attractive either, to be honest with you. But whatever. So speaking of attractive, let's take a look at this Playboy model who claims she was rejected by Bumble because she is, quote unquote, too hot. So supposedly this chick is so fine that Bumble said, nope, we're not gonna we're gonna pull your photos. Because Bumble claims it prohibits photos of people indoors wearing swimsuits or underwear. So was it really that she violated the terms and conditions, or because she's quote unquote too hot? Now, don't get me wrong. This chick is fine. It's a beautiful woman. But, I mean, come on. This is either some type of publicity stunt for both her and Bumble, or she's just full of shit and she violated the terms. I mean, you can see right here she's wearing a nice little piece of lingerie. You know, almost see the nips on the top there. You know, if I mean, there she's wearing. I don't know. I don't know what's allowed. I mean, look at this fucking thing. Jesus Christ. I mean, she's smoking hot. Don't get me wrong. but too hot to be on a website. I mean, a little bit of a stretch there, Toots. There's plenty of hot chicks on Bumble. Like, you basically just posted shit you weren't supposed to post, so they took them off. I think they left some pictures up. Not 100% sure, but I'm quite sure that this chick is not going to have any problem finding any dates. I mean, look at this broad. Like, she's gorgeous. I mean, she's beautiful. She's not going to have any problems finding any dates. She doesn't even fucking need Bumble. So I kind of feel like this is some type of publicity stunt, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, these days you can't watch a fucking viral video without without questioning how valid it is. So let's get back to this article I was reading about. Apparently, it has become a thing. Now, this has been joked about, I think, by Dave Chappelle in one of his specials, or maybe it was on the show. No, I think it was on one of his specials, where he talked about getting Botox injected into his balls to have smooth balls, right? Joke. That's how I took it. Well, guess what? There's guys that are actually doing this, okay? They call it scrotox, all right? We're talking scrotox. Apparently, it's popular. It's popular in Europe. What the fuck is going on over there, guys? I always ask you this shit. What are you guys doing? These guys are getting. Basically, they numb your sac, and then they inject it. I don't know how many times, a bunch of times with the Botox to get rid of all your wrinkles. So you have, I guess it makes your balls look bigger and smoother. To which I say, is having big balls, like big fat smooth balls, like a turn on for chicks? Like, when you whip off your briefs or your boxers or whatever you wear, and she gets a look at those bad boys, and she sees you've got these fucking like two brand new shiny softballs down there, she's gonna be impressed. Like, whoa, look at those puppies. Now that's what I'm talking about. Those are some fucking sweet nuts you got there, guy. Look at how big they are. I can't even fit them in my mouth. I mean, how is this beneficial in any way? First of all, I tend to believe the bigger your bag or the bigger your balls, the smaller it's going to make your wang look. Am I wrong? I mean, I think that's what started guys manscaping and shit, because they feel like it makes their junk look bigger. Whatever. I don't see the practice. And they're spending $1,000. It's like the treatment is not cheap. It's at least like $1,000 to Botox your balls, and it only lasts for like 3 months. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna spend $4,000 a year just to have big fucking smooth balls? And for what? What are you accomplishing? Get it together, you Europeans. There's a lot better things you could be doing with that $1,000. fucking scrotox. Supposedly it gives them some increased sensitivity and stuff that makes their sex life better. I think that's all psychosomatic, and I don't buy it. I think it's bullshit. I think it's trying to justify your spending all that money on your fucking bag. But whatever, to each his own. Just keep them things socially distanced, and we're good. So I guess there was not this past Bills game, but last Bills game. They had fans in the stadiums. I guess there was a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a scrum, if you will. And so let's take a look at this real quick. Let's take a look at this little tussle. Are just like nothing to see here. Like they're not even paying attention to their guy just getting hammered by this guy. I'm gonna show that again. Guys getting fired. He's just trying to move. Once he starts getting labeled, forget about it. He's over. Trademarks all over his face. Then it gets broken up. The other two basketballs like, oh shit, Jimmy got his ass kicked again. And they just walk over like it's nothing. So apparently there's another angle of this that we need to take a look at, courtesy of Barstool Sports and Dan Entenman. Our guy Clem at Barstool Sports. I want to give proper credit. So this is a better angle because this we get to see how it all unfolds. Now, for those that are just listening, the Zubaz boys, guys with the Zubaz pants, have the higher ground. They're on the the row of the bleachers on top of the guys they're about to get into it with. Now, I believe there's 3 Zubaz boys, and one of them just we'll show it. So.
I don't know how you can do it.
These guys are not be able to knock that off. Zubaz boy number 1.
They know for sure.
So the guy with the lower ground pushes his hand away. Now these two are about to get into it, right?
Oh, they're the guys below aren't doing anything because he just
pushes them. But you didn't even see it happen, right? So the guy that gets pushed doesn't even get into it with the guy who pushed him because his buddy, I guess, jumps to his defense before he can even do anything. So the guy's picking himself up from being pushed because he almost fell. His buddy, like, what the fuck, dude? And Zubaz guy number 2, who pushed the original guy, and this probably sounds confusing. So the 2 guys with the lower ground on the next row down, Zubaz guy number 2, I think he's wearing like a Super Bowl jacket or whatever. He pushes the guy from the lower ground down. While that guy's trying to get back up, his buddy goes to confront or attack Super Bowl Zubaz guy number 2, Zubaz guy number 2. And he proceeds to take him down and just start pummeling him. But this is the first guy. He starts pummeling the second guy. I'm going to pause this here for the viewers on YouTube. Zubaz guy number 3 is like barely trying to break the fight up. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do. But Zubaz guy number 2 is pummeling this dude. Meanwhile, you got Zubaz guy number 1 with the original guy that was pushed down. Again, he's got the high ground. He should have the advantage. But the guy that got pushed down was not having it. The guy that got pushed down is about to go to town. Meanwhile, his buddy's just beating the shit out of the other guy. It's like a 1-4. So he pounds the shit out of this guy, right? This guy's not, right? So Zubaz guy number 2 started the whole fucking thing. His buddy just got his ass kicked. Watch what he does. He just walks over and acts like nothing happened. Like, oh, fucking Jimmy, he got his ass kicked again. And meanwhile, the guy who pummeled watch it again. Watch it all
They know for sure.
Best pushes goes down. His buddy tries to confront. Bang! Zubaz 2 starts pounding. And now he's like, fuck it, I'm going after Zubaz 1. Zubaz 1 starts getting his ass kicked while Zubaz 3 is really doing nothing. Meanwhile, Zubaz 3 is getting his face pounded. And he's out. And the guy who got pushed down to begin with, he's out of here. He's like, fuck this, I just kicked some of this. I'm gone. And fucking Zubaz 2 just walks over like, just another day out.
They know for sure. Their guys below aren't doing anything because he just comes.
It's like nothing to him. He's laying there, cold cocked, like seeing stars, get fucking Lucky Charms and shit running around, and asses hanging out of his Zubaz, and he just walks over like, So, you gotta love Bills fans. Gotta love them. they get into it, and they got a good team this year, so good for them. I'm not a hater. I am a hater, but fuck it. Let the Bills get some shine. We've whipped on them for so many years. My Patriots, that is, that they deserve a little comeuppance. So, do your thing, Bills. So, one of the things that I actually wanted to talk with Rob about was, you know, how I've been talking about 80s music lately and sexual innuendo and all of that stuff, if you've been listening. I'm sure all of you have heard the song 867-5309, which, by the way, was so much easier to remember phone numbers back then than you have to remember area codes. I'm old enough to remember that, where you just had to remember 7 numbers. You have to like mix it up with area codes. But anyways, so 867-5309, listening to the lyrics, and he says that he got a number off the wall and it said for a good time call. So it got me thinking, like, okay, what kind of a woman writes her name on the wall? Or maybe it wasn't a woman, maybe it was a dude. So I guess it could be a dude, like kind of like 80s revenge porn. You know, so you have a bad breakup or something, so you like, fuck you, Jenny. I'm gonna write your fucking phone number in the men's room stall and put, for a good time, call Jenny. Call this number. So it could have been an early form of revenge porn. But I don't know. But if it was a woman, well, obviously you would think that would be like a prostitute, right? Prostitute would advertise, hey, you want a good time? Give me a call there, sailor. But this leads me more to the guy who actually sees Jenny's number and says, 867-5309, huh? Good time. Fuck yeah. I'm gonna get some fucking dimes. I'm gonna go call this bitch. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, you gotta be a desperate motherfucker to just call 867-5309 just because it says Jenny for a good time call, right? But then you think back, this was pre-internet. You couldn't meet chicks online. This was pre-cell phones. This was pre-apps. We're talking about Bumble earlier. This was before you had all of that shit. So, and I'm talking about when guys were beating off the fucking magazines, okay, and VHSs and shit. Like, porn wasn't available the way it is now. So you had some horny motherfuckers back then, okay? Their Botox smooth balls were filled with cum, overflowing with cum, because they couldn't find the means to gratify themselves the way it wasn't as easily attainable as it is today, okay? Nor was it as easily attainable for random hookups and things like that. Guys used to actually have to work for that shit. You motherfuckers today are so spoiled. Not fucking swipe right, swipe left bullshit. No, we had to use like charm and charisma and we had to be some smooth motherfuckers to get some pussy. Okay? Which I always said, if you got game, you could be on the bus and you could still pull chicks. Like, obviously it's easier if you have a car. But if you got game, you can still pull chicks riding on that T if you can avoid the one that goes over the fucking bridge over there in New York. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so at first I'm thinking, wow, fucking it's a Tommy Two-Tone. Tommy Two-Tone's a fucking pervert sicko calling Jenny out of the blue like that. But then on second thought, it's like, well, Tommy Two-Tone probably hadn't gotten any trim in a little while, and was tired of his old Playboys and shit, and was like, fuck it, man. I want to have a good time. Let's go. Let's fucking go, baby. So I take it back. I take back my original negative thoughts of Tommy. And if I put myself in his shoes, and maybe he's not that smooth guy. Maybe Tommy Two-Tone's awkward fuck. And he wanted to show somebody his, well, they didn't have Botox back then, so he wouldn't have been able to do that. But I don't know. Makes more sense now when you think about it, really. Like when you dissect it, just dive into it. No internet, no Pornhub, nothing. I mean, fuck. If we're being honest, maybe he probably had the scrambled porn channel. And I think for a time, they weren't even like, it wasn't even like porn. Like for a time, there was like Cinemax, like Skinemax. It was like fake fucking and stuff. Like they still showed naked chicks, but they weren't showing you like actual penetrations and things like that. So, and then I don't know what happened. I was a young lad, so I didn't care about the details. But something changed, and all of a sudden, we got the full porn experience on the scrambled channels. And back then, we had those de-scramblers, if you could get your hands on one, so you would actually see what the fuck was going on without having to pay for it. Kind of like, jailbroken fire sticks and whatever the hell they're doing these days. But yeah. So you can kind of understand where Tommy Two-Tone was coming from. Kind of feel bad for him if that's what he had to resort to, right? But Maybe not. Maybe Jenny was a good time. Maybe he hammered that shit out and felt great afterwards. Who knows? Who knows? I'd like to ask him someday if he's even still alive. I have no idea. Anyways, I guess that's it for now. Hopefully, Rob gets back. Like I said, if he reaches out to me to do a show this week, I'll fucking do a show with him. I'll do a show anytime with him. I miss him being here. I miss having him do this stuff with me, but I also feel like we're going too long without giving you content. You know, stuff happens and we don't even talk about it because it's been so long, and I do it for you. I do it for the game. Do it for the game because I love you guys. And even though I'm the asshole, everybody fucking hates Rio. Rio's the asshole. Fuck Rio. Everybody loves Rob. It's like that show. Everybody loves Raymond. Everybody loves Robbo. Well, guess what? He fucking abandoned your asses. And who's here? Who's here putting in work? The one you hate, motherfuckers. Anyways, I'll catch you hopefully next week. If not sooner, I don't know. We'll see. I wish I could give you a more solid set schedule, but and hopefully there'll be 2 Richards in the next one. But if not, hey, I'll give you my best. You don't like it? Fuck off. Like I always tell you. You know? What do you want me to do? I'm fucking trying over here. All right, later.